happy to see so many of y'all here and participation in that poll. I'm going to keep it over here so I can remind myself what you are. So I'm Dr. Marie Francois, and I am the director of the University Experience Program. And one of the great classes that we offer in the program is University 350. These are GE transfer year seminars. And I have with me today two of the professors from those classes. We have Tim Allison, who's a political science professor, and but I claim him more as a university 350 professor. And then we have Elizabeth Villa, who also is a university, has taught a number of courses in UNIV, including the 350 seminar. And Tim teaches these always in the fall. We often hope to have them in the spring. Y'all be joining us in the fall. And Ellie's teaching the same class this semester that she'll teach in the fall. So we have some things to share with you about our community. So here's again our names and who we are. And you see a little bit of our campus, one of our stock photos of this is the mall area there. So the seminars themselves are satisfied GE areas. And so they're either, when you come to Channel Islands, most of you have your GE done, except for those 9 units that are done in the upper division. And so there's area B, area C, and area D for the GE. And so we offer classes in all 3 of those in the fall. The area B one is with Dr. Rasnow, who's a physicist. He is not joining us today, but this is a very rigorous and popular class for folks who need that B area. So you don't need to be in the STEM area to do this class. It's a interdisciplinary class, and lots of students will get their GE areas in their major. So it's more likely you might not be your major that when you're in one of these classes. And so one thing you'll notice on this flyer here is that we have half of our University 350 seminars will be in person on campus, and half of them are going to be synchronous online, so that we have a variety of choices for you. And Tim Allison will be doing the same class in both versions. And Professor Villa, hers will be in person, and Professor Rasnow's will be online. So you can see some of these themes here. And I will, at this moment, ask both Tim and Ellie to give a little bit of information about what's in their classes. Tim, you want to go first?
Sure, I'm happy to. So however it is that you guys found yourself to this session here today, I just want to welcome you and say that, you're in for a treat if you end up taking one of these classes. The whole kind of transition to CSUCI, many of you come from community colleges in this area or other places, and just the idea of, okay, now this is CSUCI, what is this going to be like? In my classes, we talk about what's going on in the world, current events. We talk about cultural literacy, which is in a nutshell kind of how everything fits together. When you're watching a movie and you get the joke that they make on there, and your friend who's sitting right next to you says, what, I didn't get it. I want you to be culturally literate. I want you to be the one that understands the connection between these things. What I've found is that as we go through this class, it is the perfect entree to starting your CSUCI career. And I've had students that have come back after their entire college career, from community college off through CSUCI, and have said that their single most favorite class is University 350. And the reason is because they make a lot of good friends. They find out what's going on, not only in the world, but at CSUCI. And it's kind of that perfect entree to it. So I strongly encourage you guys, if you're interested in my classes, they typically fill up entirely full. I try to get a few people in on waiting list, but if you're interested in University 350, don't wait. We do give priority for those that are transfer students. And so we've kept it open so that other students can't get in there and transfer students can. But if this is a class that you're interested in, I just encourage you guys, you won't regret it. It's an unusual class, but it's a fun class, and it's a great way to start your career at CSUCI.
Ellie?
Hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Villa, and I want to thank you all for attending. And just to give you a little bit of background of this class, I've been on both sides of the administrative side at Channel Islands, and I've also now teaching a course. And I just want to tell you how much preparation there is in these courses and how transfer friendly they are. And just some background about myself, I'm a transfer student. I was born in Los Angeles. I went to East LA Community College, and then I was able to transfer to a university. And for me, it was kind of, somewhat of a culture shock when first initially enrolled at a four-year school, especially at such a huge campus. I ended up going to UCLA, and there was nothing like this when I went to UCLA. And so I really feel like these transfer courses are so important because, for example, in my experience, I'm very empathetic to transfer students. I'm currently a PhD candidate student at UCSB, and the research my research works looks at students who are transfers, specifically students who are attending local community colleges from Ventura County. And so I understand the population, I understand the colleges and the cultural context of Ventura County. And in addition, you we'll talk about this a little bit later, but you also have a peer mentor in the class. And so there's a relationship between the peer mentor and the professor where they really help students with, having like these small dig groups that we'll talk about in a bit, and just a lot of workshops to kind of give you all information on how to study. I looked at the poll, and a lot of students mentioned being worried about time management and, being able to balance everything. And so we're definitely aware of that. The university knows that, and especially peer mentors who were once in your shoes that were transfer students like yourself really do a good job of trying to help you all as students, as incoming students, transition and to kind of alleviate a little bit of these concerns through the workshops. And
Great. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no. I'm sorry. I was going to talk a little bit about my class. My class, one of the things that I enjoy looking most at. So I work with transfer students, and I look at. I'm an education major, and I've done a lot of work with critical race theory. And so in my courses, one of the things that I try to do is look at the ways that race is constructed, right? The social formations of race, and we look at different. In this class, for example, we look at movies, we look at essays that have been written by scholars, and we try to understand these theoretical concepts. And I like to incorporate a lot of film and videos and photography just to kind of help break down larger concepts, right? Like very theoretical concepts, and understand how they affect us practically in every day. So we definitely, I feel, have a lot of fun in our class.
Great, thank you so much. So
Marie, let me jump in just for a quick second. There was a question in the chat, and I realized that I really didn't do anything to introduce myself. So let me just do a couple of quick sentences. I'm Tim Allison. I teach in political science and UNIV. I teach a lot of the law-related classes. Love these UNIV classes, these transfer student seminars. And one of the things that I love the most about them is that I can take my community connections and help bring them to bear for students. So if you're interested in internships, if you're trying to figure out how to get into psychology or nursing or anything else, I love connecting my students with possible internships and possible mentors. It's part of what I do. And I also love the fact that this class has an embedded peer mentor. It's one of your fellow students that can do digs. We can talk about Dolphin interest groups that can help you answer the questions for you and kind of ease your transition into CSUCI.
Great. So the mentors, that's a great segue, because this is the flyer that if we were in person, we'd be handing to you, you could walk home with. And so one of the reasons to take these transfer seminars, get at some of the things that you just heard from the faculty, and many of the things in your poll answers here, is that you really get the assistance of a seasoned, trained, embedded peer mentor. Almost exclusively, they've also been transfer students. Sometimes they're seniors and started with us the whole time, but almost every time they've been transfer students. And they really can help you with acclimating to the upper division workload and figuring out how to meet your major faculty person, showing you who the advisor is in case you haven't had a chance to meet them, setting you up with workshops on career and graduate school, different ways to figuring out how to use resources to support lab work or papers, not just the things that you'll do with Professors Allison and Via and Rasnow in this class, but they help with all of your classes, like getting you set up with what you're doing, and they'll meet with you outside of class in addition to being in class. So they take over class every week for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and do some activity that they know you'll need. And then you also will meet with them once a month outside of class in smaller groups, much more intimately, just them. The professor's not there, I'm not there, it's you and the mentor. And students have told us a lot about both aspects of these classes, and both the professor and the mentor and the combination. And so I wanted to share with you some of the what they've told us. So we asked students in a survey, they do 2 surveys, you would do 2 surveys in this class. Actually, you do 3 because there's one's a pre and a post about the learning. And so one of the things that's a hallmark of these classes that's in line with our university mission is they're interdisciplinary. So they're in that big bucket of humanities or social science. So while Professor Allison is a political scientist, he brings in culture and sociology, and it's not just about politics, right? And the same thing with Professor Via's class. All the different aspects of humanities. It isn't an English class or a philosophy class. It instead brings in all these things. And it's the same thing for the STEM. So the students that answered the survey, this is a word cloud from their answers. They're talking about, what interdisciplinary learning is at the end of the class. What did they figure out kind of about what they've learned here, right? So that's one of the questions. Another one that we asked them were, what assignments really helped them build their interdisciplinary skills? And so this is just a sample of some of these. And Professor Via's class isn't in here yet because it's going on right now. We haven't yet surveyed there. So Elizabeth, is there anything in particular that you want to talk about for your class that really builds that interdisciplinary skill set for CI students who are transferring?
Well, one of the things that I feel is important, for example, is to try to always connect a lot of like these kind of theoretical elements within different fields, like looking at, for example, movies, right? The way that certain things are gazed upon, and then how that connects to, for example, current events in whether that might be with like movies or videos, and then also, for example, like looking at essays that might talk.
You froze. All right, I'm going to go on. Hopefully, Ellie, she comes back. Okay. So we also asked about assignments that help them engage multiple perspectives to get at social problems or issues. One of the aims of this course is to kind of have a focus, interdisciplinary focus, that both lets the expertise of faculty come in. And here you'll see there's mention of a policy brief. It was also one mentioned in the other answer. And this is a hallmark of Professor Allison's class where students do policy brief. Tim, you want to say another thing about that?
Yeah, sure. It's a great assignment to wrap up rather than give my students a final exam. We end up doing a policy brief, and you explain your policy brief to your fellow colleagues. The fun thing about it is you're all in it together. You all kind of end up doing the same assignment, but with different topics, and students end up learning a lot about a whole bunch of different topics. It's a nice way to learn a lot, but not have the normal stress of a final exam, which you have in your other classes.
Great, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a popular topic. So these are comments from a second survey that students get talking about their experience with the peer mentor. And so these are the Dolphin interest groups, or DIGs. And so I have a couple of summary slides here about those. So I invite you to kind of look at what students have said about this. And it's both a combination of kind of what CI is and what you can learn about CI, and how you find your own sense of belonging, whether it be with clubs or different kinds of academic resources, or where is the counseling office, some of the logistical things, but also a lot about sharing experience. Being able to build on your community college experience and the connections you had there. You're coming to a new place, and you'll find there's lots of people from where you came from here. It's a kind of a secret that most students at CI have been transfer students. We are a transfer institution. And so in all of your classes, you're going to have lots of transfer students. But the nice thing about this class is that everyone is a transfer student, and you have a chance to kind of work with each other and the mentor who's trained in facilitating conversations and drawing people into conversations that might be difficult to have, but also it's just some of the fun stuff, right? So it's really a great place. And this last year, we've done all of this synchronously. And so now we know how to do it both ways. So you'll have some opportunities to have these digs in person, and other opportunities to have them virtual. So another question that we ask is, what was the most effective activity done in the digs? And you'll see a range of things. Sometimes it's just about things to de-stress, right? That the mentor had an activity that was super helpful. Other times it's checking in. How's it going? What have you been up to? Some of it's very technical, how to figure out how to use the CAR, which is this CI academic requirements thing that tracks all of your classes and your transfer classes and what came in. They can help. They know how to do this. They're trained in this. They can help you with that. And then when it comes time to enroll for classes next time, which ones are or just how to do it, how to use the shopping cart, all kinds of things that you'll learn this year, but you may forget, right, for the semester and the next time. So there's lots. There's also real practical things. There's a mock interview they can do to kind of get you ready for the jobs or internships you might be looking for while you're at CI in your fields, right? So there's lots of different things you'll get from the peer. And this might be in the dig. And then they also, of course, are in class doing activities as well. So that was a quick rundown. I think we have about 10 minutes or 9 minutes for questions. Some of them came in already through the Q&A. But if you have any other questions, and there's one that I didn't answer in the text, and it was, can we take the transfer seminar after our first year as a transfer student? And for this one, yes, we do. If you were to look on our schedule right now, you're not going to see them because we want them to be available to incoming transfer students. And then once incoming transfer students have had a chance to register, other students on campus who maybe were transfers in the spring and didn't get into one of these have a chance to add. So it doesn't have to be in the very first semester that you come around, but it's designed to serve students right when you come into campus. So we have had students in both, right, who have come in to taken it when they get here, and then they might take it a little bit later as well. So let's see, are there other, we'll be able to see the recording. I don't know. Yes, I do believe they're going to be somewhere. Cesar, do you want to answer? Or okay.
Yeah, can answer that. Sorry. Yeah, so the video will be, or recordings of this week will be available 2 weeks after this week. So expect them to be posted on our admissions website. And we'll probably more than likely, you'll see it on the admissions link website. You'll see the videos posted there.
Okay.
Or you can just wait for it on Netflix. It might take a while, but I'm sure it'll be there.
It'll be there eventually, right? And then the flyer that you saw will be available. Advisors will have that. So when you have your advising sessions at the transfer orientation, they'll be available that way. You'll also probably get an email from me that will have the flyer. They'll remind you about these classes and what they are. We just wanted to be able to take advantage of this moment for those of you so you can actually meet some of the professors that teach the classes. So that's what we were doing there. So let's see, question, where can we sign up for the transfer program? So when you come to orientation and you register for classes, that's when you would register for these classes. Again, if you were to look right now at the schedule that's published for the fall, you're not going to see these because we're holding them for you all. if we had them up right now, continuing students would grab up all the seats in Tim's class, and then you wouldn't have the chance. So you will have the chance to register for them at orientation, TiVo, I think they call it, Transfer Island View Orientation, in the summer. And I think you'll probably get to register before the orientation, but it's that orientation week once you've done the orientation online, whenever they open up. And so somebody's asking about both. So you could, it has happened where people have taken 2 of these, and then you get the doubles with two mentors doing their best to orient you. But I would recommend that you take one and then, get your other classes that you need for your majors, right? So it has happened before. They are great classes. It's very hard to choose which one to take, right? But it's likely that you will get an upper division GE in your major. So I would maybe, if that might help you decide which one of these to take. If you're a STEM major, both of them are going to serve you as your upper division GE. But if you are in the social sciences or humanities, maybe take the other one. Orientation will be later in the summer. I will let Cesar or somebody else answer that question.
Yes, transfer orientation will be in July. First-time freshman orientations will be in June, and you'll actually find out more information about orientation on our Saturday's What's Next presentation. So feel free to sign up for those so you can find out a little bit more about that. And we'll also explain the course registration process as well that Marie was talking about earlier, about how that's going to look like for fall and all that good stuff. So yeah, stay tuned for Saturday's events. You'll for sure get that information organized that for you. So yeah, and if you have any more other questions for our presenters right now, feel free to jot them down. Oh, there's one more here. Do you know if orientation will be in person or still through Zoom? So again, not to talk too much about orientation right now, it is going to be a virtual event. And like I mentioned, you'll find out more about this on our What's Next presentations on Saturday morning. Any more questions for our presenters? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm putting back up the topics here. So again, you will likely get an email from me with this flyer attached. And there is also another class, the University 300, which is a 1-unit class that does more of the nuts and bolts about campus and advising. It's not a content, it's not a GE class, it's not a content class in the same kind of way as these are. But I send a flyer, I send this flyer and info about those classes as well. They're also just for transfer students, they're one. So, while you're kind of thinking about if you have any other questions. And so there's a question, Cesar, about the orientation fee. I don't have any idea about how to answer that one. So.
Is on hold. You're more than welcome to email us so that we can take a look for you, because I don't want to give out too specific information just in case it may be particular in your account. Feel free to email us at admissions@csuci.edu to learn more. We can help you with that. And the What's Next transfer seminar, they're asking how to sign up for that. You can visit the same link that you visited to sign up for this information session. You'll see registration links there as well. So you should find that in that same website. And also for those of you asking about recordings for today's session, there is a link on your chat that you can visit. It will be available as of May 3rd. So look out for that. And that link is there available for those that were wondering where the recordings were going to be posted at. So we do have some time. So for one more quick question for our presenters here, if anybody wants to submit them to the Q&A, or maybe one of our presenters wants to share like one last minute quick note before we end
while we're waiting, Cesar, I just want to mention to the folks that are here, I love the UNIV 350 classes. You are going through kind of this weird time. You're all starting college at a time of a global pandemic, which puts you in just such a strange position, right? You're trying to figure out, how do I enter this brand new thing? And I don't even know if I'm going to be there. I don't even know if I can, make friends, what it's going to look like. Do I have to wear masks? All of that kind of stuff. And the cool thing about UNIV 350, whether you're taking it on campus or whether you're taking it online synchronously, is that you're going to be going through a whole class of people, going through it together with an entire class of people going through just what you're going through. And I love that aspect of it. And I think it's the perfect way to transition to CSUCI.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's another thing I would like to reiterate is that we do have for the transfer seminars, we have a freshman seminar, and those are more likely to be on campus. With the transfer seminars, we're going to have both options so that folks can, you know, you're going to have a range of classes. It's very unlikely that you'll have a schedule where you're not on campus, but it may be that, you know, you need to have the flexibility of having the synchronous online. And so we've had a year and a half of this now, and I'll tell you, the faculty and the mentors are really stepped up to really have engaging classes. You know, we know more about Zoom than we ever wanted to know, and I'm sure you all know more about Zoom than you ever wanted to know. But Canvas and Padlet and lots of different ways to engage you. And again, the mentor in these classes have a lot of training behind them. They know a ton. And if they can't help you with your question, they know where to go to find the answer. And you'll see them every week, and they'll help you build relationships. And what I hear from students who've been through these classes is that, you know, these are friends that you have for life. Kind of like they say, you know, well, my cousin went to, you know, so-and-so college and lived in a dorm, and the people that they lived with are their friends forever. They feel like they get that out of this class, right? You'll get 3 or 4 people that are going to, you know, slog through the policy brief with Tim, or, you know, watch so many movies and really engage those hard things about the climate or about race, you know, with Professors V or Rasnow, and, you know, stay up all night and finish that thing. And also really get to know each other in those smaller sessions with digs and intimacy, and you'll carry that on. So it is a chance for a sense of belonging in a way that dorming might offer at a traditional, you know, if you start in school in a different kind of way. And you meet all kinds of people who are all, as you know, Tim was saying, going through it with you, whether it's virtually like we have been lately or in person. So I really recommend it. And the last thing I'll say is it's also good for your GPA and in getting through campus. I mean, your degree. It turns out people who start with us have a higher unit count, have higher GPAs, and are more likely to graduate sooner. So getting out into the world. So it does help you stop spinning wheels and be very intentional to get through your degree. So we know that it's good for you to take these classes. I wish I could say every transfer student had the opportunity. We're not there yet, but we are advocating for that opportunity. But there are these seats, so sign up. All right, and if anybody wants, I'm going to put my contact information back up. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, and again, you'll get an email from me later, but in the meantime, here's my email, and you can ask me any questions, you know, if you're trying to figure out which one would be the better one to take and all of that. And during orientation, you may see me as well. So I think we're out of time. Right at 4:45, came right in. So it's great to meet y'all, and reach out and let us know what we can do for you so that you have a great transfer experience. Thank you, everybody.